All right. Hi, Nicole.
Hello.
So I am super excited to bring to you a woman who I met, probably 8 years ago, and I've watched her transform into an amazing entrepreneur slash mentor slash inspirational coach slash stylista slash so many different slash marks that I'm gonna let her describe in her own words a little bit about herself. But I want everybody to meet Nicole Longstreath. So Nicole, tell us who you are.
Cassie, thank you so much for inviting me to do this. I really appreciate it. You're right. It's been like 8 years and wow, things have changed, right?
Yes.
So what I do is for a long time, I used to just market myself as a wardrobe stylist. So for about 5 years, I worked with women to help them really figure out, okay, what's my goal here? What am I working with? And how do I take my image and align my image with where I want to be? So we would strategically style them, figure out what it is that their true authentic style was, and then I would help them build wardrobes, refine their closets, edit their wardrobes around this vision. But what I was finding is that more and more and more, I was attracting clients to my tent that wanted something that was way beyond just wardrobe styling. And that's why they were attracted to me, because I was talking about these things in life that often had nothing to do with fashion, nothing to do with style. And because of that, because I'd attracted these specific types of clients, what we started doing completely organically was working on other goals that they had in life. So life goals, relationship goals, career and business goals. And what would happen is we would get on our calls, we would talk for about 15 to 20 minutes about what was going on in the wardrobe. Did you buy this thing that I picked out for you? Did you get that other stuff out of your closet? Okay, cool. What else are we going to talk about? And then we would talk about those things. And a lot of it was the typical, work-life balance and making sure that everything that they were doing, not just with their style, but everything that they're doing in their lives and their business were aligned with what it is that they truly wanted. And so now I'm a coach. I just call myself a coach, and I work with women who want to make sure that everything that they're doing is totally aligned with what it is that they want, that they truly want, and I help them recalibrate along the way.
I love it. And that's one of the reasons why I reached out to you is that I work with a lot of people who spend, 8 months, 8 weeks kind of going through a transformation. And especially when I talk about my clients that I work with for 8 and 10 months at a time that go through a transformation physically, other things start to shift in their world. And so I reached out to you to talk about ways that we can take that momentum that they have created for themselves over the last 8 to 10 months, and even someone that's just been doing it for 6 to 8 weeks, that they can apply that momentum that they have going on in their lives to other aspects of their lives. And I know that I say, like, at the end of this big transformation, like, what's next? What are you going to do next? What can you build upon in your life? And so I wanted to reach out to you to cover basically like three main topics that you see in your business working with women, and see how it would apply to people that I know that have gone through big transformations. So tell us your top three places or top three parts of life, or places where people can build on this momentum when you want to say, like, well, what's next? What happens next? So shoot, tell us something.
I love the idea of what's next, because I think that when you have such a radical transformation where you're changing your physical form, you're changing not only your physical form, you're changing how your body operates, you're changing how you're presenting yourself to the world. And that's a big component, because we all live in this world, we all have to interact in the world. And I think that it's wise to do whatever you can to engineer your experience, manipulate, not in a bad way. I guess that's why I use the word engineer first, but engineer your experience and try to, will the world to what it is that you want to experience. So yeah, I think just working off of, the experience that I've had with my clients in the last several years, the first thing I think that you want to start working on is your outward appearance and the clothes that you're putting yourself in. So I know that one of the frustrating things about being someone who is plus size is that you're having to shop in like a different section of the store. You're having to shop, if it's online, you're shopping from a different selection of clothing. Maybe they're not always offering, the same selection. Like if it's Target, are they offering the same selection in plus size as they are straight size? It's really just overall a bad experience for women who are, size 14 and up. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I learned with the clients that I worked with, many of whom were plus size, is that your options are what you make them. So it's important that as your body begins to change, as your form begins to change, and you kind of become a different person, that you know what your options are and you're able to make the most of your resources. Mm-hmm. So what I recommend is finding out which brands have the best selection for you. So if it's plus size, there are a lot of really great brands that are just for plus size. There's Eloquii, and Melissa McCarthy made her own brand. So you're not necessarily always just relegated to, one section of the store or, the plus size version of something else. Mm-hmm. The same applies, actually, if you're straight size, because the idea is that when you shop, when you build a wardrobe, the way that you don't want to shop is by either, whether it's going into the store or going online, going into a shopping space and saying, okay, what appeals to me? I'm here. Like, let's figure this out. You want to do all of that work beforehand. So you want to figure out what are the pieces that you need and where are you most likely to find them? What are your best resources? And I always talk about this in terms of like grocery shopping. So I don't know about you, Cassie, but I have like 3 or 4 different grocery stores that I end up having to shop at, right?
Yes.
So you know what you get from Mother's, you know what you get from Sprouts, you know what you're getting from Ralph's, you know what you're getting from Trader Joe's. You don't just show up at Trader Joe's. I mean, sometimes you might show up at Trader Joe's and be like, let's just see what looks good. But that's like a small trip. That's like, we don't have anything left in our kitchen. What's for dinner? I'm just going to go pick up something out of the frozen foods. That's not like real grocery shopping. So you want to engineer your experience. You want to know exactly what it is that you're looking for before you ever shop. And like I said, I shop professionally for women of all sizes for a long time. And I know that it's frustrating to be put in that category of being plus size. But regardless of whether you're plus size or straight size, it doesn't matter. You actually have the selection that you come up with for yourself. And I can tell you, again, from shopping for women of all sizes, sometimes there are times when you absolutely just cannot find exactly what it is that you're looking for. You might have a vision of something and it's just not to be found. So, try to see if you can engineer your experience in shopping and buy what it is that's going to work for your body, that's going to express the person that you are, that you're becoming, that you're reinventing yourself in. And set up your closet to create this image every day of the person that you're becoming. So that would be my first one.
Is there, for someone that's gone through a big transformation and isn't really sure where to start with a new piece in their closet to show the world their new body, their new shape, their new personality, their new outlook on life? Is there one piece, is it buying a great blouse? Is it buying a pair of jeans? Or is it just that one thing that you never have been able to wear before and you should go get it now because you can? Or in your experience, is there one piece that people tend to find more easily or tend to feel more comfortable getting the first time? Or I don't know, it just came to me when you were saying that.
Yeah, I think that no. The short answer is no. There's not any one specific piece. In a similar way that I'm not a big fan of those like essentials lists. Like every woman should have these, 9 things in her closet. We're all so different. Like we're all so totally different that what works for my wardrobe isn't going to work for someone else's wardrobe. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times those essentials lists, by the way, are, these are decades old. These are decades old for like different times and, completely different, social life situations. So I think this is going to be a little bit of a long answer, but the way that I have done it, the way that I've taught my clients to do it, the way that I've helped my clients do it is the first thing is you want to start with the end game in mind. So you want to start with this higher vision of yourself, who you are, who it is that you're becoming. You want to look at some past influence as well. I mean, for example, I'm a child of the 80s. So in my personal experience, Madonna and like Princess Diana were things that were tough for me to avoid. They had a really big impact on me just because it's a product of the time. And they were things that I liked. So you want to think back to who is the person that you are? What have you gone through to become to this person today? Think about where you're going. And then if you can, come up with a little bit of a style concept on Pinterest. So this is like free association pinning. Like it's not something that we're not necessarily pinning looks, we're pinning conceptual ideas. And so from that, what you want to do is then go into your closet and you want to evaluate everything in your closet against this conceptual idea. So you want to come up with things to let go and things that can stay based on, does it align with this vision I have of myself? Now, first and foremost, you have to get everything out of your closet that doesn't fit. So if it doesn't fit your body, if you've lost weight and now it doesn't fit, or if it's too small and it still doesn't fit, you have to get it out of your closet. Now, what you do with it, that's totally up to you. If you want to fold it up, all up, and put it in the bottom of your closet because you can't bear to let it go because the process of letting something go just isn't something that you want to do right now, I don't care. Whatever it is that you do, just get it off the hangers because your closet is your workspace. You want to make sure that it's functional for you. So edit your closet. And then once you edit your closet, here's the answer to your question. Once you edit your closet, now you're going to see what's missing. I mean, I encourage my clients to edit ruthlessly. So if that means that you're whittling down to 30 items, you're probably going to need to add some things. So group it in, these are all of my tops, these are all of my skirts, these are all of my pants, dresses. Group it that way so that you can see from an inventory perspective what's missing.
I love it.
Yeah.
So and I didn't even lead you to it, and I didn't know you were going to say it, but that is like, get rid of the things that don't fit, whether too big, too small.
Get rid of the things that don't fit. Get rid of the things that are not in good shape. Like if you've, I think that we all do this regardless of where we're at in our lives and our fitness and where we're at with our bodies. Sometimes we tend to hang on to things for too long because they're just comfortable, because they're emotionally comfortable, because they're physically comfortable. And before we know it, they're faded. I mean, and they don't make clothes like they used to. So we could have this expectation that we bought something, maybe we paid a lot of money for it, and it's pilling, and it's like, there's no coming back from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so what's the next thing that you see with your clients after they've gone through a big transformation that they can build upon?
So relationships are a big one. Making sure that you keep relationships in your life that don't deplete you. That not only are you editing the relationships in your life, but sometimes there are relationships in your life that maybe you don't feel comfortable editing out of your life. Maybe it's a person that, for whatever reason, you can't, totally walk away from. So then managing that relationship based on what it is that you need to get. So a good example, I have a client that I'm working with right now. She's never really able to get the specific thing that she wants from her mother. So she wants to be able to tell her mother, look at these amazing things that I'm doing. Aren't you proud of me? And aren't you happy for me? Mm-hmm. She's never going to get, that's wonderful, honey. I can't believe that you're doing this. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited for you about this experience. She's never going to get that response. So it might be a little difficult for this person to completely cut out, her mother from her life. And I think a lot of us, whether it's our mother, maybe it's our spouse, maybe it's a father, maybe it's grandparents, maybe it's a lifelong friend, a sister, a brother, whatever. These aren't exactly always relationships that it would benefit us if we just walked away from them. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that the way that you're interacting in the relationship is a way that manages it, is a way that lines up with your expectations and what you need from that relationship. Now, other relationships in your life that you can let go of, acquaintances. It's just like editing your closet. Let go of acquaintances that, don't align with this higher vision that you're working on for yourself. And then I think a really important component of this that you can't leave out is to actively seek out community with people who are going to get you to where you want to be.
That definitely support your new lifestyle. I know
Yes.
that a lot of the women that I work with have, whether it's friends or family, relationships that the people my clients still love and admire and respect the particular person in the relationship. However, the person views their new transformation as threatening. And so or they've changed, they're not the same person anymore, and in some
Yeah.
respects they aren't the same person, but that's not what their looks on the outside isn't what their relationship was built upon.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is, but I know that relationships can sometimes get strained just from that, nothing that my client had done other than transform into a more healthy lifestyle where the significant or other or the person in the relationship feels threatened, and thereby the relationship changes and no longer quote unquote works. And so that it can sometimes be difficult and difficult conversations to have,
Yeah.
and we're not, my dog, who has been sitting here so quietly, suddenly is not being so quiet anymore. He's getting antsy. But we talk about how, edit, and we don't want to use that word, like I'll say, you have to get rid of these people. And it sounds so harsh and final and blunt and mean. And neither of us are, you nor I, are trying to be flippant about it or anything like that. But it is, for lack of a better word, edit relationships that aren't serving you the same way. You need to edit the clothes that don't fit you any longer. So it's not a bad thing.
I think also this idea of being selfish, I think a lot of us reject it. I think that when we think of the concept of selfishness, we think, oh, that's abhorrent. That's the opposite of virtue. We don't want to be selfish in our lives. But I think that, and it's possible that, the clients that you're working with are learning that sometimes you have to be selfish. You have to make decisions that benefit you and sometimes don't benefit others.
Right.
That someone else might think that it doesn't benefit them, or that it's a choice that is being made at them. You're losing weight at them. You're improving your life at them. And sometimes you really just have to be just radically selfish if you're really committed to, again, realizing this idea of your higher vision. And it's your higher vision. It's not someone else's higher vision. This is what you are coming up with for the life that you want.
I think it's a really good topic of conversation for people to reflect on.
Mm-hmm.
So last, what is another area that is a great place to look to and say what's next when you have gone through a transformation?
I love the idea of achievement. So whether it is personal achievement or it's career achievement, it doesn't matter. It can be any of the above. So if you're someone who is in a career that you're not happy with, you want to think about, okay, what's next in terms of my career? Do I want to stay in this industry? Do I just need a new job? Or do I actually want to create something in an entrepreneurial way where I can have complete autonomy over the direction that I go? I ended up getting into doing what I do now after getting laid off for the second time from my industry of interior design. And so I just decided I was not going to let anybody else control my destiny, that I would just have to do it. But like I said, that's not everybody's path. And sometimes it's your path to just find a better job. Mm-hmm. If, on the other hand, none of that applies, if you're totally fine and happy in your career or business or whatever it is that supports your livelihood, then I think that it's good to think about some personal achievement. Of course, there are fitness goals. You can run like a 5K. You can enter yourself in some sort of race. If that's not your thing, if you would rather focus on something else, you can always take up creative projects. So right now, I'm actually working on a romance novel.
It's something. I love it.
It's a story that I've literally had in my head for the longest time. And at the end of 2014, I was dealing with burnout from my job, from my career. And I thought, I can't think about my business in my free time anymore. I can't get done with work because I work out of my house. I can't get done with work, go downstairs and hang out all night and just sit there and like think about my business all night. I can't do it. So I thought because my mind's just going to be working, I'm going to have to figure out something. And so this idea that I've had forever, I thought, why not? I'm just going to do this. So I made up the notes over the holiday vacation, and it's not my full-time job. So I'm still, it's the middle of 2016. It's a year and a half later. I'm still only on the first draft. It took me a year to really figure out the structure of the story. But gosh, I'm going to feel such a sense of achievement when I finally finish the last page of just the first draft, and then, I don't know, I'm sure I'll probably take a couple of months off from it and reread it again. I have no idea how that's going to work, to be honest. But again, it's a sense of personal achievement. And so I think that looking at what's next in terms of just a general sense of achievement, whether it's personal or your business or your career, you've got to start looking at what's next for that.
I love it. Yeah, I think that I know a lot of my clients say that they felt that their life was stagnant, that they were stuck, that it was the way that it was, and that was how they were going to live the rest of their life, and that was it. Like, end of story. Kind of. I think one of them even says her soul was tired,
Oh,
and it wasn't going to wake up ever again. And they go through this transformation with a new healthy lifestyle, and whether it's the endorphins that give them energy to start realizing that this is not life, our soul is not going to be tired, and there's
yeah.
other things that you can do. And I know we do a lot of exercises with looking at different hobbies, and what did you want to do when you were a kid, and go back out and do those things. Ride a bike or roller skate, or a lot of times they're physical, and then other times they're creative or career, surrounded or a career change or something. But I think it's a really good time when the momentum. I talk about momentum a lot. That when you're making a lot of progress in one area of your life, that there are lots of other areas that you can let that momentum spill over into. And you're right, achievements is definitely one of them.
Another thing that we didn't talk about actually was if, fitness achievement isn't your thing, if career achievement isn't your thing, if you're not going to write a romance novel or paint a picture, I think that there's also opportunities for volunteering in your community, becoming involved in any sort of organization that is doing something that you're really into. And I think that because I have experience volunteering here in Orange County, I think that my advice on choosing an organization to volunteer with is that it absolutely has to be aligned with something that you really do love. Like, you have to find the excitement in it. You have to be really excited. And if it doesn't excite you, but you kind of think that it should excite you, but it doesn't excite you, don't do it. Just wait until you find like the right charity or organization or whatever it is that is really going to light you up, because it's volunteer work. It's not paid. It's being run by, a nonprofit organization. And so the attitude that you bring to it, absolutely has to be one of enthusiasm or excitement. Otherwise, you're just going to be feeling like, you're wasting your time, and it's not going to be a good experience for you.
Yeah, I agree. I used to volunteer at the public library
Yeah.
as the fancy word was book conservator, which was basically scrapbooking. I would put, the loaner books they come back in all different, never with pages torn out and covers torn out, and I would sit there and put them back together. And I love books. I'm the girl that loves the smell of a book.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved scrapbooking at the time, and it was so meditative, and it was so gratifying to get in there and get this book that was broken and put it all back together by the end of my shift, and be able to put it back on the shelf. And it was very selfish. At the same time, I know that it was definitely a need in the community because people weren't stepping up to volunteer there, and I loved it. I did it for a couple years. It was really cool and very gratifying and very very selfish.
It's a win-win. It
It
was
was a
selfish for
win-win.
you because you were able to have time to yourself and do the thing that you wanted to do, and it helped the community. Yeah,
Yeah.
win-win. I've been thinking about volunteering for the German Rescue or the German Shepherd Rescue Organization because I don't have a lot of experience with dogs, and I love dogs. And I just want that experience of walking a dog and, being around a dog just so that I'm like
Yeah.
more comfortable with it.
Yeah. Well, I love it. Well, tell everybody where they can. I know people are gonna want to have like more information about you or read your blog or watch your videos. So I'll put it in the notes below this video. But for those of them that are listening and want to hear, tell us where people can find you.
Yes, absolutely. So my website is NicoleLongstreath.com. But one thing that I started recently, it is just FYI, it is directed more towards an entrepreneurial slant for women. But I have a group on Facebook that anyone's welcome to join. It's called the Unpopular Truth Lab. And so we're doing things in that group where we're making, personal declarations about our big visions and things that we want to see in this world. We're crafting our own unpopular truths, statements, again, based on that big vision where we're citing something that we see that doesn't work and, how we think that it should work. We're doing a lot of self-introspection exercises on, again, what it is that we want to see in the world and how we can make this really big change happen. And with that, all you have to do is just search on Facebook, the Unpopular Truth Lab. Like I said, it's a little more slanted towards women entrepreneurs, but certainly if you wanted to get in the group and just poke around and just be inspired by the women there, you could. And then, I publish a blog at my website at NicoleLongstreath.com as well.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll put all those links in our videos or in the notes on the video. And I love that. And you said about the Facebook group being geared towards women entrepreneurs. However, I've watched some of your videos talking about it, and I think it's just like really any woman that has a voice and an opinion. And I don't know any woman that doesn't have a voice and an opinion. And I know that you're really open to hearing other women's voices and opinions, and you don't like it when everybody agrees with you. And so you like a healthy debate, and I've watched them, and I think it's really cool and interesting and sometimes entertaining, definitely informative and inspiring. So I would encourage anybody who goes onto the Facebook group to join it and not just poke around, but, put something up and have an opinion and vocalize. That's what it's there for. So
absolutely,
be unpopular. So
yes, exactly.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Nicole. I appreciate your time, and everybody check out her stuff, and we'll say goodbye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.